Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Press Box. This is John Carter, and we're joined today by a bunch of people from St. Clair Little League. Jamie Haslim, who's the president, his son Christian, who's a player there. Then Matt Karras and Matt Dilserath will be running the Derek Kauffman Memorial Wood Bat Tournament this weekend. Guys, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks. And let's start with you, Jamie, and let's kind of talk about what's going on with Little League here at the start of the year.
Well, the season's going. The season's underway. We got through the rain, and that was the toughest thing this year. No opening day due to the rain, and it got everything started a little bit later than usual, but we're good now. The fields are dry, and we're playing baseball. Over 500 kids, boys and girls. We have kids from 3 to 16 years old, and we're plugging along now.
That's amazing. Can you talk a little bit about the different leagues that you run for all those age groups?
Yeah, we start, like I said, 3 years old, and that's T-ball 1. We go from T-ball 1 to T-ball 2, and for T-ball 2 they pitch to the kids, so it's kind of the next step. Then we go to 8U, which is a pitching machine division. From there you go to minor boys, and that's pitching. I think that's where Jackson is this year, Matt's boy. They're pitching up there. And then we go to major boys. From there, 13-year-old intermediate, junior boys, and then senior boys.
Okay.
So, and then the girls, we have also, they play the T-ball with the boys, and then they do an 8U pitching machine division, a minor girls, and a major girls.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's just amazing because I know that we're now kind of going even above major leagues. There's a lot of kids playing who are older than what used to be kind of the cutoff for Little League. Yeah,
they do 3 divisions now. They do the intermediate division, like I mentioned. They do a junior boys, and they do a senior boys. So the 13-year-olds play this intermediate division. That's a 50-70 league. Then the junior boys will go to 60-90, and the senior boys also do 60-90.
And maybe tell everybody what 50-70 and 60-90 means.
Yeah, 50-70 is they pitch from 50 feet, and the bases are 70 feet. It's kind of the in-between from Little League to that high school field. Gets the kids kind of ready for that bigger field, maybe saves on their arms a little bit, gets them a little more used to it before they jump right into that 60-foot pitching mound or try to throw from 90 foot, from base to base. Some of the guys aren't real big, and so that helps out a little bit with those guys, and gives them, just kind of gets them prepared from that 12 to 13-year-old age for that 14 to 16-year-old group. So
Legacy Field is really a tremendous complex. I mean, I know it's gotten great praise, and a lot of people like it. Tell us what we're doing this year, or what you're doing this year to kind of upgrade it even more.
Well, it's never ending. Let me tell you. Right now we just repaired the wall. I don't know if you remember last year we talked about the wall that we had built. Well, that windstorm this year took about a quarter of the wall down. So that's bigger and better and stronger, and we're working on getting that painted. That'll be the next project. And we've started now where there's a little bit of repair work. Like some of the dugouts need to be repaired from when they were first built. So making things a little bit bigger and better. We're putting dugouts on fields 6 and 8. We're going to cover those there. We put fence dugouts over there. So for the T-ballers, it kind of keeps them out of the sun. It gets a little warm late in June and early July. So that's some of the stuff that we're working on right now.
So it's obviously, I know you really count on the volunteers to help make all this work. So talk a little bit about some of the people that help.
Well, that's kind of an endless list, but I'll start with my wife because I probably should. She runs the concession stand. Trisha Roberts and my wife Chris, they run the concession stand. That's a tough job. They do a great job in there. That's one of the tougher ones that I wouldn't want to have to do. Jamie Conlon, he kind of runs the grounds with Greg Piperzak, and now Steve Freeland has stepped in. Every year we find that with that younger group, there's another guy, there's another person to come up and take the place of the group that's maybe aging out. So they're working their way in. Matt's dad, Bill Karras, he's constantly over there giving advice and then usually starting a project and finishing it up himself. So he's somebody that we couldn't do without. Larry Oles, who cuts the grass. Like I said, I could go on forever. And then Matt, our vice president, of course, he's my right-hand guy. He's always there to take care of anything that when I get stressed out, I guess.
So do we have sponsors? Are there sponsors for the Little League?
Yeah, that's an endless list as well. From Neiman's to I think last year I couldn't even tell you how many sponsors we had last year. Maybe 30 sponsors for Little League, and we send out a letter every year just explaining what we're doing and say, hey, if you want to donate to Little League, go ahead, and that's it. Yeah. We get a ton of response from that. This community is amazing as far as sponsorship for baseball.
Yeah.
So
it really is a community project. There's no question about it. So Christian, what team do you play for in the majors?
Indians.
And who's your coach?
My dad and Coach Petrakowski.
Oh, not an easy name there. So what position do you play for them?
Center field.
And what do you like best about baseball?
Hitting.
Do you? Are you left-handed?
Yeah.
Got a good bat? Okay, good, good. So, Jamie, the other thing is, and I think a lot of people are familiar with the Williamsport, the National Little League Tournament and so on. Talk about how that goes and how it gets started and what we do here in St. Clair for that.
That's a great question. We're very involved, with the All-Star program. We run a lot of the district games out of St. Clair. This year, a few more of them are going to be, around other fields in the district because we're running the state tournament for the 12-year-old girls this year, which is a pretty big honor. It's a great honor to be able to do a state tournament at all, and to do a 12-year-old state tournament is even a bigger deal. That's kind of the big group. That 12-year-old group is before they kind of age out of the little league part of it. And so
that's one of the ones for girls and boys. That's one you see in Williamsport and actually
Correct.
On TV.
Yep, those are the ones that move on and keep playing, for a central regional or whatever, and end up in Williamsport. So yeah, it's a big deal for us to host this year. And again, it's important to us for it to be a community event. You'll notice downtown this year we'll do part of the opening ceremonies and the dinner and stuff downtown. Actually, it was kind of Matt Karras's initial idea. We talked about it, and he said, hey, let's do some of this stuff downtown. And we like to make the community a part of everything because they're so generous to us and they're such a big part of Little League. We want them to be a part of the fun stuff that we do, and to have the banquet down in the mall area where the new I don't know what you would call it down there,
plaza.
But the new plaza area. We want to be part of that. Chris Paul and Andrea, they're part of Little League as well. They help us out a ton, and they're going to help us kind of get that all going down there. And it's going to be really cool. We're going to have a parade downtown, from the old theater down in front of the mall, kind of old school like we used to. I know that's going to make a lot of people very happy. Yes, we're having a parade downtown.
And then that's the middle. Was it July 13th? 13th is when the
that'll be the parade day.
That's the parade day. Yep, that's
so
the day.
July 13th, everybody, is parade day. So be there for the parade because I know you've wanted one downtown. Here it comes. We're going to have one downtown.
What I would expect also the other teams and the people visiting the area would like to see the river, and that's kind of the St. Clair's.
Yeah, so they'll walk in that parade
porch.
On the water, in front of the mall. What a great. I wish that the state tournaments that I've been to that we would have been able to do something like that.
Usually just parade onto the field and you're done. But
Correct.
That's a lot different setting than.
I think that's going to be really neat. So, well, let's talk to you guys a little bit. Talk about the tournament coming up, and maybe Matt Karras, tell us a little bit about the history of this tournament. How did it start, and kind of go into what was the genesis of it.
Started in 2000 in honor of Derek Kauffman, who passed away the previous year. Kind of just to honor him, and me and Matt played in the first game ever there. So funny story is I batted fourth, Matt batted third. I got a brand new wood bat and Matt broke it before I even got to use it. So that's what I always remember about the first wood bat tournament. So my dad started it. It was kind of to honor him and to raise money for the scoreboard, which was also dedicated to Derek Kauffman.
Okay.
So he used wood bats kind of as an old school way because Derek was like an old school baseball player, real class guy. So we went with the wood bats then, just kind of have an old school feel to it.
So Matt Disserat, how has it changed and evolved since the first couple of years?
Well, that first since from 2000 to then 2004, it was a 18U tournament, and the high school fields, and we ran it right at St. Clair High School. Actually, Matt's dad ran it. We didn't run it yet. Right. And then in 2005, Matt and I were looking to start a tournament for 12U because that was the age we were coaching. So we moved it down to Clutcha Field. It was just a 12U tournament, had 5 teams. And then in 2010, once Legacy was built, we moved it over there and added a 10U. So it was 10U and 12U. Then once all the fields got going, we got up to where we are now.
So talk about where we are now. What is it for 2017?
Well, we've been 70 teams the last 2 years, which is huge. This year we actually had to go down a few teams because we got rid of the 1-and-1 count for the first time. I think just to try to make the games a little more high scoring because it really turned into such a pitcher's battle, with the 1-and-1 count and wood bats. So this year we decided to go with the normal count, giving the teams a better chance to hit the ball. So
Matt Karras, talk a little bit about some of the teams that are coming. One of the neat things about this tournament is you have teams from literally all over the Midwest.
Right. We have teams from Grand Rapids, the West Side Smash, Maumee, Ohio, which is outside of Toledo. We have Taylor. We have Midland. We know a lot of teams from Grosse Pointe and around that area. So it's really the whole state comes, and they word of mouth, and it's pretty cool to have teams. We had a team from Toronto for a few years that came. So it's pretty nice to have teams from outside of just St. Clair County want to come and play in your tournament.
So, Matt, what do you hear? What's the attraction? Why are all these teams interested in coming out here?
Well, I think the one thing that helps, like Matt said, word of mouth. Also, we've had at least a team play in the Final Four at the 12U level play in our tournament every year. A lot of times we have either the state champ or the runner-up playing here. So I think the fact that you get a chance to play against good teams early on and kind of see where you're at and play, everyone loves to play good competition. So it helps that, Grosse Point's a very strong baseball community. They're always very competitive. We've been very good. When you look back through the 12-year-old Little League, St. Clair's been, probably one of the top 8 Little Leagues in the state. So you had us, you had Richmond, who's been very good locally. Then you start throwing in those Grosse Pointe teams. Now you're attracting the Midlands and the Maumee, Ohio, who's a really good team out of Ohio.
So tell me a little bit about these teams. Do they stay in the area? Do they, are they around for the weekend?
Yeah, most of them, that I've talked to, a lot of them are staying in Marysville and Port Huron and anybody close. They stay right in town, and they'll go out, check out the restaurants and all that. They're always looking for a list of that stuff.
That's cool. That's very cool. So, Matt Karras, do you know some of the stronger programs or some of the stronger teams are going to be here this year in the divisions?
Yep, like we said, Grosse Pointe, Midland, they were both in the Final Four for the state tournament when they were 10. Their 12-year-old programs are back. DeWitt normally is bringing a team. They're normally very strong. They've won it a few years. So obviously St. Clair Little League's always at the top there. So, again, pretty much the 12-year-old division's pretty strong. I mean, there's probably going to be 8 teams maybe that make states out of that. So yeah,
that's just about all of them because there's only so many districts
Right.
That'd be half.
Yeah.
16, so that'd be half
Yeah.
the teams.
That's pretty amazing. So, I got to ask, what's the allure of the wood bat? I mean, it's kind of old school, as you said, but why has that gotten so big?
I obviously had an opinion that the coaches, the dads, always like it better, because it's probably what they grew up with. As we're getting a little further along, they probably haven't played with wood bats, but the sound.
Grandfather.
Right. They all love it. It's the sound of the wood bat's different. It's the old school feel. The kids, a lot of them get new bats and stuff like that. So it's a change of pace from the aluminum and composite, but it's kind of just a change of pace, and the wood bat sound is basically nothing else.
It's iconic.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So Matt, what's the difference? I mean, from a player standpoint or a game standpoint, what's the difference between the wood bat and the composite bat?
I think it's definitely more of a pitching game, just because the bats are never. You're going to see aluminum bats are negative 13s, where these wood bats, I think the smallest one that they can make is a negative 10. So you're going to see smaller bats.
And maybe explain that because for our viewers,
I guess
what that means.
So the length ratio to the weight ratio is a lot.
So it's a 30-inch length and 20-ounce bat.
That's going to be probably the smallest wood bat you can find is one that'd be a 10-ounce difference. But this year we do have a wood bat company coming out. They said they can spin the bats right while they're there. I'm interested to see. They told me the amount of money it costs for the machine. They also did pre-orders, and I think they had almost 20 pre-orders, and they actually found us. They were on the internet looking. It's a local family-owned company out of it, or not local, but a family-owned company out of Illinois. They were looking for tournaments to get out to, and they saw ours, and they read about it online and said, hey, we want to come and work, so we can work with them.
That's pretty amazing. So maybe talk a little bit more about some of the concessions and so on that goes on with this thing.
Yeah, my dad, who runs the tournament, is a big concession guy. He loves to have everything possible for concessions for everybody. So, we do the hamburgers, hot dogs, the Foley burgers, the 2 patties. He also likes the double, greased fries. So we got to double dip them. So the fries are normally best around. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, not just hot dogs, but they have to be Zimmerman hot dogs.
They have to be a certain kind.
Zimmerman hamburgers.
Yep.
Go quality.
Yeah, we have to have Cool Whip and strawberries for the pancake breakfast.
Yep.
I mean, he's very particular.
So pancake breakfast on Saturday morning. I think it's all you can eat. I forgot the price.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's never very expensive with him.
No.
Because you have
And he does team deals for
team deals and everything.
So they can all eat breakfast.
That's amazing. So Matt, maybe talk about some of the sponsors for this tournament. I know that's a big part of it as well.
I mean, 4 Sports does a lot of stuff for us. Really everything's, we keep it very inexpensive. So really there's There's Little League is
really not for this tournament. We really don't.
Four Sports helps us out, and
Okay.
really it's just the Little League.
We really do it ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
This one.
This one, yeah.
Okay. So, Jamie, you and I have talked about this a couple times. But I think one of the nice things you're doing for the field is creating both handicap parking as well as doing a shuttle. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned handicap parking. Mr. Karras, for the last 2 seasons, has kind of been on me about getting that completed, and it's been something that it's a priority, and we wanted to get it done. And then we just talked about it a few days ago, and we were already in the process of getting that done. So about 3 days ago, the post went in, and last night Kevin Markle came out and he put the signs up, and so we're handicap accessible. Not only are we handicap accessible where there's parking spots for handicap, but all the parking spots are by a sidewalk that'll go to the fields. The Community Foundation was a huge sponsor in that, to making sure we had sidewalks to all the fields of the park. And so you'll park, you'll be able to park right next to a sidewalk, and even if you're in a wheelchair or a cart, you can drive right back to the fields and be on the sidewalk or in a gazebo watching the game and never leave a sidewalk area. So thanks to the Community Foundation and the Rotary Club and just everybody that's helped out with that. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a big
it
deal.
really is.
So there's really no real excuse. Grandma and Grandpa can get out there. There's no excuse for not getting out there to see a baseball game. We'll make sure, and if we have to, we can put you in a golf cart. In fact, the Woodbat 2 years ago, it's one of the things the Woodbat does for the Little League is they the statue out front was one thing that the Woodbat bought for us. The golf cart that we have as a league was bought by the Woodbat tournament. So we have a golf cart. We'll pick you up anywhere out there where you park, and we'll drive you to any game you want to be driven to, and we'll make sure you're all set.
That's great. So, Matt, maybe talk a little bit about the schedule. When's it start? How long does it go? And then when are the championships?
Friday we have 2 sets of games, 5:30 and 7. Saturday we start at 8:15 in the morning as a start time, and we go till the last start time 7 o'clock at night. Sunday's very similar. I believe we start at 8:30, and the championships they're kind of staggered throughout. Some of the younger ones are 2, 3 o'clock, and then the last ones are 5:30.
Okay. And how many divisions do we have?
We start at 14U, so there's 14U, 13U, 12U, 11U, 10U, 9U, and then 2 8Us. We have 8U kid pitch and 8U machine pitch.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, listen, guys, I would just tell everybody it's a great event. Highly recommend everybody coming out. One of the reasons we wanted to do this show today was to get it on air so that people are aware it's coming up here this weekend. And I just recommend you come out. You see Dale and Lois. They'll be at the fields,
there.
Kauffman all weekend long, and just enjoy the baseball. Guys, thanks very much for coming in. Christian, thank you for coming by. Really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend, and Jamie, good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. That's it for today, and Press Box, and we'll see you again next week. See you soon. Bye-bye.